Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Karma on Deck. This is your Capricorn weekly reading for September 2nd. Let's take a look and see. Me and tech, I swear. My dog ran by and ripped all the cords out of everything. I was coming right back up. Nope, everything got unplugged. Me and tech. All right, here we go. This is for me, too. I'm a Capricorn, so I'll have to take my own advice here. Let's see what's going on for you, Capricorn. Seven of Wands. You got a lot on your plate. Overwhelmed, busy, not too bad. You have the Fool card, which tells us there's a lot of opportunity for you coming up in the next week or so. Tension, so feeling like there's deadlines. So you have the Four of Swords. If you notice, he's got a fistful of swords. So that means there's you got to have a tight rein on some of these situations that you have, or you're going to lose momentum, right? So with this card, it just says that there's deadlines. We also have the Fool card, which is opportunity. You have the Two of Cups, which is balance. But I will say that you have crossed swords here with the Five of Swords as well. So even though you have balance here and opportunity, you're going to have to set some boundaries with some individuals in order to maintain this level of activity that you have coming up. You have the Justice card, so don't be surprised if you're having to sign paperwork, mediation, or anything like that. This doesn't look like anything chaotic, but we do have the Four of Wands, which is a house. So for some of you, this might be like buying a house, moving into something, or starting a business, because the Justice card has to do with the legal matters, a little bit different than Judgment, which is our karma. Now, Four of Coins, looking for money. The Four of Wands, which is your home and your foundation. So you're looking to bring in some resources to your situation. You have the Tower card, so you're going to feel as if things are shaken a little bit, or shaken up, so to speak. So watch for that, feeling of like things are going to fall apart. I don't feel as if they are, but you might find yourself feeling like there's some criticism out there. This is really chaotic energy. I will have to say that almost everyone is feeling this hot seat kind of feeling, as if, people are either watching you or criticizing or gossiping around you, and you're just kind of like backing up a little bit so that you can have some space. With the Two of Coins in play, I will say that you have some financial opportunities where you're going to be exposed to a job opportunity, or quite possibly get a job. I will see the Eight of Wands, where you're going to have some things are going to continue to get busy, and you're going to have a little bit more on your plate than you first started with. So there's two confirmations for that kind of energy. Expect to find some travel opportunities, or even if like someone like myself that's doing YouTube with the World card in play, this tells us that you're going to be experiencing some either international connections or doing something outside of your current area. So if you're living in a small town and you're going to a big city for something, or reaching out to people like New York or Florida, Miami, or LA, like finding somebody from a bigger city that's going to have some influence with you, or exposure to. That might even indicate some travel for some of you. Although I know travel's tight, don't be surprised. We have kids going back to school, but who knows? So, and it also means bringing things into balance, like on all planes. So the World card is like having your relationship good, and your weight good, and your health good, and your house good, and your money good. It's like a balance, right? It's a whole picture instead. So don't be surprised if you have this up and down energy this coming week. I can tell you, you have the Six of Cups, right? So the Six of Cups is our card for celebration. So you have something to celebrate, or some good news coming your way. Like I said here, this is the Four of Wands, which represents your house. So there's a strong foundation coming up for you. Now, remember, with the Fool card, it tells us that there is energy for opportunity and a crossroads where you'll have this position you'll be in to make some different choices. So you'll be asked to kind of look and see what your opportunity is looking like. So remember Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy comes along and asks the Scarecrow if he wants to go on a little adventure. He could stay right where he is. However, this tells us that there's this potential for him to go do something else, and it's just that moment of decision, right? Hi, Matt. So there's a little bit of wonder on what's going to happen next, but it's also a lot of excitement. Just remember, with the Two of Cups, it represents balance. You have the Six of Cups. So look, I'm going to show you. So even though you've got this tension and these crossed swords here, right? So you've got tension, deadlines, things that have to be done. And then you have the Five of Swords, which is our you know, cross swords and boundaries. So you might have to set some boundaries in order to make this opportunity pop for you. We do have the Four of Wands, which is our foundation. So what is it that you're working on foundationally? You will also see that you're going to have some moments in this next little period where you're doing some introspection and self examination. So for you Capricorns out there who are going through it, it might even feel a little bit like the dark night of the soul. And maybe you're having some harsh conversations with yourself. Like this could be anything like your weight. Let's say you're overweight and you're like, personally, my body's aching. Even though I'm losing weight, I've atrophied a little bit since I got sick April and May with things. And I've had this really hard time catching my wind and catching my energy. So there's this moment where I'm like, I really got to get back to my yoga. I really got to exercise. So maybe you're sitting with some of the things you've been neglecting and that's causing you to feel this stress because this is introspection. So the Temperance card always has 2 cups in it. Now, remember, you can't serve from an empty cup. So this is all about balance as well. So even though you're looking in the mirror, like she's doing right here, she's looking in to the reflection in the water and she's looking at like, how am I showing up? What is this looking like? Am I doing what I say I'm going to do? Am I, you know, honoring and standing to what I try to represent? Things like that. So it's, you know, you're being naked with yourself. You're being doing that self-examination. Don't be too hard on yourself. The world does enough of that. However, real is real. And sometimes we are harder on ourselves than we need to be. And yet that's the motivation some of us need. Sometimes Capricorn needs a kick in the butt. Let's pull some cards from Mystic Dreamer and see what your moon reading is looking like. Book your one-on-one, karmaondeck.com. My coaching is on there as well as classes. So if you want to take the Tarot 101 class, let me know. And let's play. If you want to get some clarity on what some of these subjects are for you personally, please reach out. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can see the pictures in picture. Picture in picture. So you can see the cards in play. Okay, here we go, Capricorn, for your moon reading. Chariot, Queen, Temperance. Again, Temperance. So everything you're thinking about is finding balance. Like, how do I be hard on myself without shitting down my own neck and being like, you're such trash, right? There's a fine line between coaching yourself and holding yourself to a standard and having integrity versus being like, you're such an idiot, you messed that up, right? So we do see, again, the Five of Swords. This is interesting because we had that card in the other reading with you as well. So remember who you're setting your boundaries with and what those boundaries look like. We don't always have to have an argument, even though the Five of Swords sometimes comes out harsh. If you have to be harsh, then do so, because there's often times where we learn the lesson of what people behave like when we tell them no. One of my favorite coaching techniques is to have somebody practice saying no for a week. This is not about no, and it will teach you so many things. First of all, I mean, hey, Karma, do you want to go for coffee? And I say no. Is that person going to get offended? Are they going to negotiate? Are they going to manipulate? Are they going to pout? Are they going to gaslight? Are they going to make you feel guilty? Like the power of no, learning to say no. Like I told a client once, she had to say, she was so resistant. I was like, now you have to do it for a week. You have to say no for a week, but practice saying no for a day and then watch the behavior of others. I had one client ask me, well, can I say no thank you? I'm like, do you see how you quantified your no right away? Yes, you can say no thank you. But what is it that's going on through your head? And how is it that others are behaving when you negotiate your no differently than they're used to? Because sometimes it takes that awareness. I'm also seeing Queen of Swords and the Emperor, which is interesting because I think it was Sagittarius that had a lot of Empress energy. And Empress is much more nurturing, but the Queen of Swords paired with the Emperor. Now, if you remember, Emperor and Empress are all about leadership and individuality, not so much King and Queen, how they are paired together often. But the Emperor and Empress are those that are solitary, and they have a tendency to be pretty powerful in their energy. So when you get a Emperor, it tells us that you're being a leader and very direct. Queen of Swords is very similar energy. I call the Queen of Swords my bitch card, right? We all know when we're being a bitch. Some people don't wear it well. Some of us can say what we have to say and it's all is forgiven. It's like, that's just how they are. I, for example, was a paramedic for 20 years, so I know how to ask for things direct and clear and with a now energy. So it's kind of irresistible. However, you can't get offended when I say, hand me the salt, please. My ex-husband used to get so mad, being so bossy. I'm like, I said, please just hand me the salt. So this is the Queen of Swords, right? So sometimes you get to be, sometimes when you're that direct, some people can take it wrong, especially if it's new to them, right? So practice with some of that I can say that you have the Eight of Pentacles, repetition and redundancy. What is it that you're doing over and over again to get right? Because you're going to find yourself repeating some things. Now, who knows what that's going to look like, but the Eight of Pentacles is not exactly stagnancy, but it's work, it's expertise. It's like me, for example, I can only use me as an example, sorry guys, but me, for example, it's like, what does my integrity look like, and am I being consistent with what I say I want to do? And so therefore that's why I'm back on doing my videos more consistently, because it's me keeping my word to myself. I mean, this is nothing but a gift, right? However, I also feel like it's my way of giving back, staying on top of and connected with my followers, and also giving new people a taste of, you know, what I do and what it looks like for those that have never tried it before. They have this crazy redhead out there going, woohoo, look at this. So I also will say too, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is starting over on something. So you're thinking about how you're going to start over financially, or how you're going to be behaving with your money in the next phase. So the Knight of Pentacles has to do with impulsive spending as well. So be careful with that. You might find yourself going, I got it. I'll fix it. I'll make more. It's cool. Not good or bad, just saying that that's the mentality that you'll have. We also have the Ten of Wands. So obligations are a big part of this game for you coming up next week. What weight are you carrying? What things are you obligated to? Again, I can only use my example, carrying that weight, right? Doing the thing you say you're going to do. Now, for some of us, the Ten of Wands is duty bound. What is it that you're forced to do? Because this is one of those cards where the Ten of Wands has a lot on your back, where you feel like you're going to break, or you're the only one carrying it. So just be careful, because there's a lot of energy out there with depression. This feels a little bit like lack of hope though. So the Five of Pentacles is literally two people standing in front of a church. One is moping about like, please open the door. However, the door is open. And the other one is just walking on by. So it bears the question, what is it that your faith looks like? Where does your faith stand? And are you losing hope in some ways? Because I call this the like lack of hope rather than depression. So you're starting to get a little frustrated. And at this point, what Coach Karma would say is get support. Like reach out to those around you that are supportive and ask for support. Like how often do we ask for it? I'm also seeing the Two of Swords, which is indecision. Now, indecision is a decision. It says that you're exactly comfortable exactly where you are, and you're not willing to make changes because the sacrifice is too great. You know, I don't want to have to get my own place after the divorce. I don't want to have to look for another job. I don't want to have to do the work to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the Two of Swords is indecision. So you're sitting in the middle of a decision, or sitting on the fence. So what is this but analysis paralysis? And sometimes we get stuck there. And you've heard me say this 1,000 times if you've watched me at all, where I always say, sometimes what you find is that there is an expiration date to some of these decisions we're stuck on. We're sitting here and this one has an expiration date, the person we thought, choosing between two people, for example. So as you have two individuals, this one moves away. Well, what if? Or maybe that job opportunity where you were moving away and you decided not to move and you stay, and you're like, what would my life be like if I had actually done the other thing? So be the architect, make the decision, because I promise you, I'm 51. There's certain things that I sat on I wish I hadn't, because of that exact thing. Time played it out, and I literally was looking to see if that scenario would be any different. It just rolls around in your brain. So indecision is a decision. Be decisive. The universe responds to decisiveness. The clearer you are, like, almost, nope, I don't want that. And then the universe will fine tune it for you. Part of the law of attraction there. All right, let's pull a card for you from Mystic Dreamer. No, Divination of the Ancients for your Oracle card for the week. I know I'm all over the place, but thank you for your patience. Mystical, clouds. Interesting, Capricorn. I'm not even sure what to say about this. Clouds, mystical. Are you too much in your head is what I would feel that this card is trying to say. Are you too much in the concept and not enough about the productivity? Are you too much in the idea rather than what the structures are going to be to make it happen? I want to thank you for hanging out with me. Remember, love is the answer to every question. If you can find love in the scenario, you can find a good answer. And also, just another keynote, we have a lot of really fluctuating emotional energy going on. And I want you to have some patience with yourself, be a little bit more loving, have a little grace with others as well. We've got Mercury retrograde coming up at the end of this month. And so let's practice with that beforehand. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will catch you on the flip.